Chapter 91. I'm not familiar with him. You are listening at NovelsThe. Before Yi Bufan could say anything, Xie Donglin became unhappy. Although he didn't know the relationship between these people in front of him, it was definitely not possible to slander Yi Bufan. He said, "That's because Xiaoye doesn't want to do it. If Xiaoye is willing to be the dean, I will give it to him immediately. The acting looks really similar." Sun Xiaotong burst out laughing. "Yi Bufan, you hired these actors well. It seems that you really think of yourself as the director of a traditional Chinese medicine hospital. It turned out that I was looking for someone to help me. I thought, how could someone at such a young age become the honorary president of Jiangnan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine? Young people really don't learn well and can't do anything but engage in these crooked and evil activities. This old man's performance is really good. It seems that the money was not wasted." Just as these people were mocking Zheng Huan, Sun Xiaotong's uncle suddenly stood up and said excitedly, "Dean Xie, why are you here?" That he only had dinner with Xie Donglin once, and after careful identification, he was sure that this was the director of Jiangnan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Xie Donglin asked in surprise, "Who are you?" "Dean Xie is such a noble person and forgets things. I am Zhao Quan. I invited you to dinner through Dr. Ma a few days ago." "Oh." Xie Donglin looked at the top of his bald head and suddenly had an impression, and said, "I remembered that you wanted to apply for the driver of our ambulance, but unfortunately there was no position." Zhao Quan said with a flattering look, "Dean Xie, that's me. Since you know Xiaoye, why didn't you tell me earlier? With Xiaoye's relationship, let alone the ambulance driver, you can choose any position in our hospital." Xie Donglin said, "Well, the logistics director of our hospital just retired. You can come here and work for a few days. I will adjust it to you if a good position becomes available in the future." No, this position is already very good." Zhao Quan was elated. He had failed to apply for a driver job a few days ago, but today he suddenly became the logistics director of the hospital. Everyone knew that the logistics manager was a fat guy who could do things that no one else could ask for. Unexpectedly, this big pie hit him on the head. Xie Donglin seemed a little uneasy, fearing that Yi Bufan would be dissatisfied, so he turned around and said, "Dean Yi, do you think this arrangement is okay?" Yi Bufan said calmly, "No need, I'm not familiar with him." "Oh. If you're not familiar with it, forget it. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page." After hearing Yi Bufan's words, the smile on Xie Donglin's face suddenly disappeared and he immediately revoked his decision. Seeing that the duck he had obtained was about to fly away, Zhao Quan quickly shouted, "No, Dean Xie, I am friends with Dr. Ma. As long as you let me be the logistics supervisor, I will definitely repay you." "Dr. Ma? He doesn't have that much dignity." Xie Donglin noticed that something was wrong with the atmosphere here, and turned back to Yi Bufan and said, "Dean Yi, you are busy, I will leave first." After saying that, he turned around and walked out of the private room, leaving everyone in the room stunned. The contrast was too great. Just now, he said that he would collect money to do work for others, but in the end, he became the director of Jiangnan Hospital. On the contrary, Zhao Quan's work was all done by his thoughts. Just looking at Yi Bufan's face, Xie Donglin was able to ask Zhao Quan to be the logistics supervisor. And just because of Yi Bufan's words, the supervisor was instantly defeated. Sun Xiaotong stood there like a wood carving in clay sculpture. She never imagined that what was happening in front of her was real. The poor girl whom she had always looked down on suddenly transformed into the honorary president of Jiangnan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine, and she still has so much energy. What on earth is going on? After a moment of silence, Sun Xiaotong's mother came to her senses first and shouted angrily to Yi Bufan, "What's wrong with you? My brother just found a good job, and you ruined it. What are your intentions?" Sun Xiaotong's father said, "That's right. After all, you and Xiaotong were classmates before. Just to help with a word of advice, is it necessary to do things so absolutely?" That Zhao Quan also shouted angrily, "It's a shame that I had to help you with your work just now." "What a heartless white-eyed wolf," Yi Bufan sneered. "First, I never said I would ask you to find a job for me. Second, you charge 200,000 for helping me. Third, I am really not familiar with you. Sun Xiaotong said, Yi Bufan, how can you talk to your elders? You really think it's great that you become an honorary dean, don't you? Zhao Quan followed up and said, that's right, an honorary dean is just a name. What's so great about it? Can he still earn more than our Xiaotong? Sun Xiaotong's mother said arrogantly, absolutely impossible. Xiaotong earns 20,000 yuan a month. Oh, I earn 50,000 yuan a month. Yi Bufan said, raising the letter of appointment in his hand, this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Now everyone in the room was dumbfounded. The appointment letter clearly states that I don't have to go to the hospital to work, and I can still get an income of 50,000 yuan a month. This is simply a fairy-like job. So what if you earn 50,000 yuan a month? You have just started working now. How many years will it take to buy a house in Jiangnan City? That the person who spoke was Sun Xiaotong's eldest cousin Zhao Ziping. He said, I just bought a house in Jiangnan Garden Community for 2 million. It will take at least 3 or 4 years to spend it on you. As he talked, his voice became softer and quieter, and he realized that with his salary, he could buy a house like his in 3 or 4 years. But he himself struggled for 20 years, and finally got a mortgage, and he still has a lot of loans to repay. This house has always been his capital to brag about, and today he habitually shows it off, but in the end he realizes that it seems to be a slap in the face. Sun Xiaotong's mother didn't notice this, and said arrogantly, did you hear that? Although you have a good job now, so what? It's not like you don't have a house or a car. Conditions like yours simply cannot meet our Xiaotong's requirements. At this point, she straightened her back again, seeming to have regained her sense of superiority in front of Yi Bufan. At this moment, there was a knock on the door, and then a middle-aged man who looked like a butler walked in. Yi Bufan turned around and saw that it was He Zhong, the head butler of the He family. After He Zhong saw him, he said respectfully, Dr. Yi, is it convenient for you to speak now? Yi Bufan said, tell me, what's the matter? That's right, Dr. Yi, my master has prepared a house for you. He just completed the real estate procedures today. Knowing that you are here, he asked me to deliver it. He Zhong said as he handed over the completed real estate certificate and a bunch of house keys. Dr. Yi, the house is located in Yunding Villa, it is Villa number 1. Sun Xiaotong's mother felt her face burning. She had just laughed at the other person for not having a house, but someone immediately sent him a house, but she immediately realized that she had never heard of this community before, and it was definitely not much better. She said, what kind of community is Yunding Villa? It must not be popular. I have never heard of it before. It must not be as good as Ziping's Jiangnan Garden. Chapter 92 Luxury Goods in Supercars. You are listening at NovelsThe. Jiangnan Garden, is that some kind of luxury community? He Zhong looked puzzled. He had indeed never heard of the name of this community. There was a hint of sarcasm on Sun Xiaotong's mother's face. She had never even heard of Jiangnan Garden, and the house she gave away was definitely not much better. She said with a proud face, have you never heard of such a famous community? Jiangnan Garden is in the center of Jiangnan City. It has beautiful scenery, beautiful environment, and convenient transportation. 1 square meter costs 20,000 yuan. My nephew I just bought a house there for 2 million. After hearing what she said, He Zhong burst into laughter. No wonder he had never heard of Jiangnan Garden. It turned out to be just an ordinary community. Is 2 million expensive? Isn't 2 million expensive? Sun Xiaotong's mother wanted to say more, but He Zhong reached out and took out a payment receipt from his document bag. This is the tax I paid when I just handled the house procedures for Mr. Yi. The total is 5 million. Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but gasp when they heard the number he reported. It costs 5 million to pay taxes. How much is the house worth? Just now, He Zhong just didn't want people to underestimate the house given by his master, so he took out the tax stamp. Glancing at Yi Bufan, he saw that he did not show any dissatisfaction, so he looked at the people in front of him and continued, the house my master gave to Mr. Yi is on the top of Yunding Mountain. It cost 100 million Huaxia coins not long ago. It was photographed, and now it has cost another 50 million to renovate. Do you think it is popular or not? Sun Xiaodong's mother opened her mouth wide, but could not utter a word. Everyone is so stupid. They bought a house for 100 million yuan, spent 50 million on decoration, and paid 5 million on taxes. Now they have given it to Yi Bufan. What a big deal this is. They wanted to question it, but the 5 million tax receipt was right there, proving that it was all true. It turned out that He Changqing asked He Tianqi to find out what Yi Bufan still lacked, and He Jiahao donated it with both hands as the medical fee for the last life-saving treatment. When he learned that Yi Bufan and Ouyang Lan had no place to live, the old man immediately took out the #1 villa in Yunding Mountain that he planned to enjoy. He Zhong had just completed the house. Procedures. When He Tianqi saw Yi Bufan's WeChat moments, he immediately asked him to send over the real estate procedures and keys. He Zhong ignored those people, respectfully greeted Yi Bufan and left. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Now everyone's eyes changed when they looked at Yi Bufan. If nothing else, this apartment alone could make him a billionaire. There was silence in the room for a while. Some were dissatisfied, some were envious, and some were jealous. There are also people who want to please Yi Bufan, such as Sun Xiaodong's mother. If she could make such a young billionaire her son-in-law, the Sun family would be prosperous in the future. However, she mocked Yi Bufan one after another, wanting to please but feeling embarrassed. Just as she was hesitating, the door opened again, and another man who looked like a housekeeper walked in from the outside. As he entered the door, everyone's hearts were lifted again. Xie Donglin sent a letter of appointment as an honorary dean, and He Zhonglai sent a property worth more than 100 million. What did this person do? Is it also a gift? When the man came in, he saw Yi Bufan and hurriedly stepped forward and said politely, "Dr. Yi, please introduce yourself." "I am Tang Sheng, the housekeeper of the Tang family. I am here to deliver a car to Dr. Yi on the order of the master." After saying that, he handed over a car key. "I thought it was a good car, but it turned out to be a worthless brand." The speaker was Sun Xiaomei, Sun Xiaodong's cousin, who worked as a salesperson in a 4S store in Jiangnan City. Seeing Yi Bufan get a good job with an annual salary of 600,000 yuan and a property worth over 100 million yuan, whether this person could become Sun Xiaodong's boyfriend or not, it was enough to make her crazy with jealousy. Now that she saw a logo she didn't recognize on the car key, she thought it must be a domestic off-brand car, so she immediately jumped out and made fun of her. After hearing her words, Tang Sheng's face immediately darkened, and he turned around and said, "You said this is an off-brand car, isn't it?" Sun Xiaomei said with a proud look, "Don't even think about lying to me. I work in a 4S store, and I know all the car brands such as Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes-Benz and BMW, Lamborghini, and Maserati." Tang Sheng said disdainfully, "How do those garbage trucks you mentioned compare to the ones my master gave me?" Sun Xiaomei said unconvinced, "What do you mean by this? If Lamborghini and Maserati are both garbage trucks, then what is your car?" She said this aggressively and with great momentum, thinking that there was no luxury car brand that she didn't recognize. "You're really ignorant." Tang Sheng smiled disdainfully, "The car my master gave me as a gift is an Italian supercar." This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. The famous brand Pagani, this brand's sports cars are called luxury goods among supercars. It's impossible. I've seen the Pagani logo before, but it's different from the one on your car key. This is a limited edition specially made by Pagani for China, and the logo is naturally different. Tang Xing said, "Just this year, Pagani customized 4 limited edition sports cars specifically for the Chinese market. They are named Baxia, Yasui, Chichi, and Swanee respectively. There is only one of each car, and each car also has its own unique logo. The 4 cars are all named after the 9 sons of the dragon, and this car Swanee is the 5th son of the dragon. The official bear car price of this car is 30 million. Later, my owner added many configurations such as fingerprint recognition. The final price is 50 million. How can it be compared with those other brand name cars you mentioned?" The shock in the hearts of Sun Xiaotong and her family members was getting higher and higher. The shock caused by the real estate certificate just now has not subsided, and now there is another one that is even more violent. Not long ago, they were laughing at people for not having a house, a car, or a job, but in the blink of an eye their faces were swollen. He became the honorary president of Jiangnan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine. He earned an annual salary of 600,000 yuan without doing anything. His house was a super luxury villa worth over 100 million yuan, and his car was a global limited edition super luxury car. They couldn't even recognize the logo. Tang Xing ignored those people and turned around and said to Yi Bufan, "Dr. Yi, please follow me to do fingerprint recognition on this car. You don't need to take the key with you when you go out in the future." "Okay, I'll go out with you and take a look." Tang Xing's introduction just now aroused his interest and wanted to see what this super luxury car looked like. When they walked out of the hotel, they saw a group of people gathered around a car to watch. Although those people did not recognize the make of the car, they also knew that it was an extremely expensive luxury car. They only dared to look at it from a distance but did not dare to rely on it. Too close, Tang Xing led everyone to the car and saw that it was a blue sports car with a wedge-shaped nose, gull-wing door design, a drop-shaped glass cabin, a carbon fiber body, and dragon totems painted on both sides. Looks luxurious and domineering, luxurious and has a full sense of technology. He activated the car's identification system, turned around and said to Yi Bufan, "Mr. Yi, please confirm your identity." Yi Bufan stretched out his right index finger and pressed it on the fingerprint reader, and saw a charming halo flash across the entire car, officially confirming his identity as the owner. Chapter 93 You Are Not Worthy of Me. You are listening at NovelsThe. After handing over the car, Tang Xing left Jiangnan Hotel. After returning to the room, the Sun family no longer cared about any restraint. In the face of huge wealth, they invariably stuffed their dignity into their crotches. Sun Xiaodong's mother said to Yi Bufan with a flattering look on her face, "Xiaoya, our family has no objections to the matter between you and Xiaotong, and we completely agree with it with both hands." Sun Xiaodong's father followed up and said, Yes, from the moment I saw you, I felt that you and Xiaotong are a couple. You two look so perfect for each other." At this moment, Sun Xiaodong's eyes were shining when she looked at Yi Bufan. She never expected that the poorest person in her class would be so prosperous now. Whether it's a job or a real estate car, these are enough to drive her crazy, and she can make her marry him just by taking out one of them. The other relatives all looked flattering and kept sending congratulations and blessings to Sun Xiaotong. "Xiaotong, you are so lucky to have found such a good boyfriend. Xiaotong, when you get rich, don't forget to take care of US relatives." Her aunt came over directly and said, "Xiaotong, please tell Xiaoya later and solve your uncle's work." Sun Xiaotong said proudly, "Don't worry, aunt. You saw it just now. It's just a matter of Xiaofan's words to let uncle go to Jiangnan Hospital to be the logistics supervisor." Sun Xiaodong's father said to Yi Bufan, "Xiaofan, this matter is settled. When you have time, invite your family out and let's meet for dinner." Yi Bufan glanced at everyone coldly and said, "What's the deal? Did I say I agreed to this marriage?" The whole audience was speechless, and everyone realized that Yi Bufan had not expressed any opinions from beginning to end, and it was entirely their wishful thinking. The smile on Sun Xiaodong's face froze for a moment. "Yi Bufan, what do you mean? Am I not worthy of you?" Yi Bufan said, "You are right, you are not worthy of me." A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. The woman's aura was very messy. She was at least the size of 4 or 5 men, and she was short of breath. She had obviously had an abortion not long ago. As a reborn person, how could he like such a woman with a corrupt life? If Qin Chu Chu hadn't arrived, he would have left long ago, and he wouldn't even be interested in talking to these people. "Yi Bufan, you have gone too far." Zhao Quan stepped forward and shouted, "We Xiaotong must have good looks and good body. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. You have a good figure and a job to do, but I am not good enough for you." "That's right, don't think that just how much money you have is no big deal. Our Xiaotong is a good girl that is hard to find." Everyone in the room was talking a lot, and Sun Xiaodong's mother stepped forward and said, "Hurry up and apologize to Xiaotong. I will advise her and give you another chance to regret." "No need, keep this opportunity to yourself." Yi Bufan was disgusted to the extreme. Who were these people? First, he looked down on himself, and then tried to defraud himself of money by doing work. When he saw that he was rich, he immediately ran over to him and knelt down and licked him. Now he is arrogant and arrogant, Sun Xiaotong said angrily, don't go too far. You are just a poor boy from the countryside. Although you have a lot of money now, I don't believe you can find a better girlfriend than me. That's right, if you were so easy to find a girlfriend, you wouldn't go out on a blind date. This is simply impossible. We, Xiaotong, are also employees of the Qin Group, and we are beautiful. Where can we find such good conditions? You don't know how to cherish. If you have the ability, find a girl who is better than Xiaotong, and let us open our eyes too. Who wants to open their eyes? Just watch. A clear and sweet voice sounded at the door of the room. Everyone turned to look and saw a graceful figure walking in from the outside. It was Qin Chu, the eldest daughter of the Qin family. The room fell into silence for a moment. With her beautiful face, noble temperament, and body sexier than an international supermodel, Qin Chu overwhelmed everyone in the Sun family with her momentum as soon as she appeared. They didn't expect that there was such a beautiful woman in this world. Although Sun Xiaotong was only a small salesperson, he knew the president of his group. He immediately stepped forward nervously and said, Mr. Qin, why are you here? My boyfriend is on a blind date, so I stopped by to take a look. Qin Chu said and glanced at Yi Bufan teasingly, then reached out and hugged his arm, pressing his chest tightly against it. My boyfriend is on a blind date, come over and take a look. If these words were said by others, they would definitely attract endless ridicule, but at this moment, the room was completely silent, because everyone has realized the identity of the person in front of them. The eldest lady of the Qin family and the vice president of the Qin group is much higher than Sun Xiaotong in terms of position and status. The most important thing is that a woman with such a noble status is actually Yi Bufan's girlfriend, and it seems that she took the initiative to betray her. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Sun Xiaotong was completely dumbfounded now. When she faced Yi Bufan just now, she still had a sense of superiority in her heart, thinking that she was beautiful enough to match him, but Qin Chu crushed her as soon as she appeared. Without comparison, there would be no harm. She was considered a beauty in front of ordinary people, but in front of this proud phoenix, she could only be a dull native chicken. The same goes for those people behind her, who immediately lost the courage to shout. Yi Bufan ignored these people and said to Qin Chu, why did you come here? Isn't it too slow? Don't I have to dress up well, otherwise I won't be able to meet my aunt later? Qin Chu really dressed up carefully before coming out, and she was more serious than ever. They said that ugly daughters-in-law are afraid of meeting their parents-in-law, and this beautiful daughter-in-law is the same. Thinking of meeting Yi Bufan's mother later, I always feel a little nervous, seeing the two people's closeness. Sun Xiaotong gritted her teeth with hatred. Isn't it deceiving someone to have such a beautiful girlfriend and go out on a blind date? Okay, let's go. After Yi Bufan finished speaking, he took Qin Chu's hand and the two of them were about to leave the private room. At this time, Sun Xiaotong's father reacted and blocked their way. Wait a minute, don't leave yet. Yi Bufan frowned and asked, is there anything else? Sun Xiaotong's father said, Xiaoya, no matter whether you and Xiaotong succeed or not, you still have to pay for today's meal, right? This is a 5-star hotel. He ordered the 16 dishes just now, all of which are signature dishes. The price of each dish is at least 3 digits. The total cost of the dishes is more than 10,000 yuan, that's not the most important thing. He just took a sneak peek at the menu. A bottle of Matai in 2015 costs 10,000 yuan. He just ordered 6 bottles in one go, which totaled 60,000 yuan, in other words, the meal just now cost more than 70,000 yuan. If Yi Bufan leaves, who will pay for it? And in his opinion, the young man in front of him is already so rich, with a luxury car and a villa, so he shouldn't care about this little food money. Unexpectedly, Yi Bufan just smiled coldly. When did I say I would treat you to dinner? That he really doesn't care about such a small amount of food now, but Sun Xiaotong's family is obviously using blind dates to get rich. If he were still the same person before, he would be eaten up by this family today. For such people, they must be taught a lesson. Chapter 94. Let them clean the toilet. You are listening at NovelsThe. At this time, everyone in the Sun family was completely dumbfounded. Looking back, Bufan did not say that he wanted to treat them to dinner from the beginning to the end. He ordered the food and asked for the wine, and he had nothing to do with them, but such expensive meal money is nothing to Bufan, but to them it is an astronomical figure. Young man, you can't say this. Sun Xiaodong's father took 2 steps forward and said to Qin Chu Chu, you can judge this girl. 2 people are on a blind date. It's not too much for a man to pay for a meal, right? That what he meant was to arouse Qin Chu Chu's resonance first. As long as the beautiful woman in front of him nodded, Bufan would definitely pay for the meal out of good looks. After all, he is a rich man, so this meal can only be regarded as a small change. Seeing through his mind, Bufan smiled coldly. I am indeed here for a blind date, that's right, but I have no obligation to treat your whole family to dinner. Besides, don't you know what this meal is about? You ordered the food, and you asked for the 15-year-old Mutai. What does this have to do with me? And that bald guy, who hasn't even found a job yet, wants 200,000 yuan to help me get a job. You know what An is thinking, so you can fulfill your dreams by yourself, and pay for the dishes you order by yourself. After saying that, he was about to leave, and Sun Xiaotong suddenly became anxious. Zhao Ziping shouted, Stop here, it is only natural that a man on a blind date treat you to dinner. Don't think that just because you have money is a big deal. My cousin is a gangster. You must pay for the meal today, otherwise you will never get out of here. Bufan stopped and said with a serious face, Really? Then I want to see how you kept me from getting out. Bufan, don't think I'm scaring you. I'll call my cousin now. When he comes, it will be too late for you to regret it. Hearing his words, Sun Xiaodong's family immediately became energetic. How about you having money? What if you know the president of Qin Group? When you meet those people who are messing around on the road, you still have to bow your head. Hurry up and make a call. This kind of person needs to be shown how powerful he is. Yes, we must call someone. This kind of person should be given some color to show him, otherwise he really thinks he is going to heaven. Because of Qin Chu Chu's presence, Sun Xiaotong never dared to say a word from beginning to end. Bufan didn't take these people's threats to heart at all, looked at Zhao Ziping and said, This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. If I want to hit you, hurry up, but I'm in a hurry. Okay, you wait, do you think I'm scaring you? I'll call now. Zhao Ziping took out his cell phone and was about to make a call. At this moment, there was a burst of chaotic footsteps outside the door, and then a dozen gangster-looking people walked in from the outside. The one at the front was Mo, who had been taught a lesson by Bufan. Western stem head. After seeing the Mohican hair, Zhao Ziping suddenly became excited. Cousin, I was just about to call you, but you brought someone here unexpectedly. This kid doesn't give me money for meals. You must teach me a lesson. But before he could finish speaking, Mohican trembled with fright when he saw Bufan, stood aside hurriedly, and then shouted in a low voice, Shut up, our leader is here. Before Zhao Ziping and others could figure out what was going on, they saw these gangsters standing on both sides to make way for a passage, and then Ma Jui, the leader of Dongqing district, walked in quickly from outside. It's just that today's Ma Jui doesn't look like a big dragon in the past. Instead, he lowers his eyebrows and trots all the way to Bufan. Mr. Yi, you came to a small hotel for dinner. Why didn't you say hello in advance so that I could entertain you personally? It turns out that Jiangnan restaurant is his property. After this guy was kept submissive last time, he was given a severe lesson by Tang Feng. Today I got the news that Bufan was eating here, so I rushed over with people immediately, for fear that I would offend this man with a little neglect. Bufan was slightly startled. You own this restaurant? A little industry, a small industry. Ma Jui said with a flattering face, the people here are really blind. They dare to let Mr. Yi dine in such an ordinary private room. I will change it for you right away. Nice VIP room. After saying that, he turned back and shouted to the hotel manager next to him, "Did you hear that? Open my dedicated VIP private room immediately and serve the best dishes and the best wine." At this moment, Sun Xiaotong and her family members were all turned into statues, especially Zhao Ziping, who was completely petrified. Just now, he wanted to find his cousin to scare people, but it turned out that his cousin's eldest brother, the famous Ma Jui in Jiangnan City, was treated like a grandson in front of others. I believe that if Bufan says a word now, Ma Jui will have all their legs broken without hesitation. This huge contrast made them all stay silent, not even daring to speak out, for fear of causing Bufan's dissatisfaction. Ma Jui took it out of his pocket again. "This chapter is not finished, please turn the page." A check said, "Last time, I didn't open my eyes and offended Mr. Yi. Here is 5 million, which is a little compensation. Please don't dislike it. 5000000. Yi Bufan took the check, flicked it with 2 fingers, and then turned back to Sun Xiaotong and said, "Now I have a 7-digit deposit." At this moment, Sun Xiaotong's face was burning, and she wanted to crawl into the cracks in the ground. It was really a slap in the face. He said he didn't have a house, but it turned out to be Villa number 1 in Yundingshan. He said he didn't have a car, but he turned out to be a limited edition supercar. He said he didn't have a job, but he turned out to be the director of Jiangnan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine. He said he didn't have a girlfriend, and his elder brother the boss took the initiative to pursue him and said that he did not have a 7-digit deposit. In the blink of an eye, the leading brother offered him with both hands. She couldn't understand how a poor boy she had never liked before suddenly soared into the sky and was beyond her reach. Ma Jui didn't know what was going on. When he saw Yi Bufan talking to Sun Xiaotong and others, he thought they were friends together. He quickly turned around and said to the manager, "Remove all the dishes from this table and put another table for Mr. Ye's friends." "Okay, then all orders are free." "I know, boss." The manager agreed and turned around to do it, but was stopped by Yi Bufan, who raised his hand. "Mr. Yi, are you dissatisfied with anything else?" Ma Jui said with a flattering face. "There's no need to pay for it. These people can eat as much as they want, and they can't afford a penny less. If they can't afford it, let them clean the toilet." After Yi Bufan finished speaking, he took Qin Chu Chu out of the private room without stopping. Ma Jiu had been in society for so many years and immediately understood what was going on. Not only were these people not Mr. Ye's friends, but they made Mr. Yi unhappy. In an instant, his face immediately turned cold, and he said to the manager with a sullen face, "Did you hear that? Pay these people the bill immediately. If there is a penny less, let them clean the toilet." Sun Xiaotong and her family were stunned for a moment. This was what Ma Jui said. If they didn't pay, they would definitely not be able to get out of here. Zhao Ziping refused to give up and said to Mo Shigan, "Cousin, please talk to Master Jiu. You should ask for the money for dinner from the man named Yi." As a result, before he could finish his words, Mohican kicked him to the ground. "Fart, Mr. Yi, are you the same ones who can make irresponsible remarks? If you want to die, you can die yourself. Don't take me with you." At this moment, the eyes of the Sun family were filled with despair. Chapter 95. The new boss is generous. You are listening at NovelsThe. After Yi Bufan went out, he brought Qin Chu Chu to the door of the hotel. Ouyanglan was sitting under a big tree, waiting for news about him. When he saw the 2 people standing up, looking at Qin Chu Chu, he said, "Son, is this the girl you had a blind date with? I'm telling you, the girl in the end must be good. Look at how beautiful this child is, like a fairy." Yi Bufan said, "Mom, this is the girlfriend Qin Chu Chu I told you before. She is not the one on a blind date at all." When she met her parents for the first time, Qin Chu Chu was extremely nervous. She pinched the corners of her clothes with both hands and said shyly, "Hello, Aunt, my name is Qin Chu Chu, and I am Xiaofan's girlfriend." "She is really Xiaofan's girlfriend." Ouyang Lan held Qin Chu Chu's hand, her eyes full of doting, and she was extremely happy. Then she said with some worry, "Xiaofan, are you sure you didn't lie to Mom?" Yi Bufan said, "Of course I didn't lie to you, this is my girlfriend." That's great, that's great. Yang Lan said reproachfully, "You bastard, if you didn't tell Mom earlier that you had such a good girlfriend, I would go around arranging blind dates for you." "I said it, but you don't believe it." Bufan said, "Mom, you've been running with me for a long time. You must be hungry now. Let's go have lunch together." After speaking, the three of them went to the VIP private room arranged by Ma Jui. This room didn't look too big, but it was extremely luxuriously decorated and generally not open to the public at all. Bufan declined the dishes arranged by Ma Jui and ordered some of his mother's usual favorites, and then the three of them sat down to eat together. Yang Lan looked at Qin Chu Chu, and the more he looked at her, the more he liked her. She felt that she was approachable, and Qin Chu Chu was no longer nervous as before, and the two of them talked happily. At this time, the mobile phone in Bufan's pocket rang. It was Guan Dongping calling. After the call was connected, Guan Dongping said anxiously, "Boss, I have summoned all the workers according to your instructions, but these people dare not enter the Xanadu community. Why don't you come over?" After breaking the Xianing gathering formation yesterday, Bufan called Guan Dongping and asked him to organize workers to enter the community for construction today. "Wait a moment, I'll be there right away." After hanging up the phone, he said to Qin Chu Chu and Yang Lan, "Chu Chu, Mom, you eat first, I have something to deal with." Yang Lan smiled and said, let's go." "With Chu Chu accompanying me, I can go wherever you like." Bufan is bitter, "This chapter is not finished, please turn the page." He said with a straight face, "You don't want a son now that you have a daughter-in-law." Qin Chu Chu said, "Go and do your work. I will take Auntie shopping later. Auntie will leave it to me today. She is a very smart girl and knows that Bufan is extremely filial and that as long as she makes Yang Lan happy, she can occupy a place in this man's heart." Bufan said goodbye to the two of them, and as soon as he walked out of the private room, he saw Ma Jui coming up to him flatteringly. "Mr. Yi, is there anything else you need?" "No, I have something to go out for." Bufan said as he walked forward, "Where are those people? How are they doing?" "Mr. Yi, as soon as you left, they started to quarrel over the meal money. In the end, everyone made an AA deal, barely scraped together the money, and just left here." Ma Jui then said flatteringly, "Did those people offend you? Do you want me to arrange for someone to teach them a lesson?" Bufan waved his hand and said, "Forget it, this is a lesson to them." After saying that, he left Zhejiangnan Hotel, got into the limited edition Pagani, and rushed towards the Paradise community. As soon as he got in the car, he felt the car's super powerful horsepower. It was worthy of being a luxury product among supercars. With just a tap of the accelerator, he rushed out like an arrow leaving the string. The acceleration from 100 meters to 100 meters was breathtaking. 20 minutes later, I arrived in front of the Xanadu community. At this time, hundreds of workers had gathered here, and Guan Dongping was trying hard to say something to everyone. Seeing him getting out of the car, Guan Dongping immediately ran over. Seeing this Pagani, a look of surprise flashed in his eyes, and then he whispered, "Boss, things are not easy to handle. Everyone is afraid of what happened before and dare not enter the community." Bufan said, "Is there any way to solve it quickly?" Guan Dongping said, "The best way is to increase everyone's salary. I have tripled the salary before." He already had a preliminary plan in mind on how to deal with it, but unfortunately he was no longer the boss and had no decision-making power on things like this kind of salary increase. "I understand." Bufan strode up to these workers. "Introduce yourself, my name is Bufan, and I am your new boss. Now everyone needs to enter the community and complete the remaining projects." A bearded man in his 30s walked out among the workers. He was obviously the leader promoted by these people. "Boss, we people work without asking, this chapter is not finished, please turn the page." Question, "But this community is too evil. Several people have died. Everyone comes out just to make a living. There are seniors and young children in the family. If something happens, the whole family will be ruined." Bufan said, "I will tell you only 2 points. First, this place has been dealt with by experts and there are no problems. If you don't believe me, I can go in with you. Second, starting from today, everyone's salary will be doubled based on Brother Guan's promotion. If anyone has an unexpected situation, I will pay 10 million in compensation. The workers present were all impressed. The new boss was too generous. Guan Dongping had already tripled his wages before. If he doubled his wages again, it would be a full 6 times increase. In other words, working here for 1 month is equivalent to working for 6 months elsewhere. The most important thing is that if something goes wrong, the family can still be protected. A compensation of 10 million yuan is enough for an ordinary family like theirs to survive for several lifetimes, the bearded man said. Mr. Yi, are you telling the truth? Of course it's true. I'll sign a legally binding agreement with you right away, so you don't have to worry about me going back on my word. Okay, Mr. Yi, we'll do it with you. As the saying goes, there must be a brave man under a heavy reward. With Yi Bufan's promise, the workers agreed in unison, then packed up their tools and entered the community. Hey, why do I feel that this place is different from before? It seems to be much warmer. Not only is it much warmer, but it's also very comfortable. Before, when I got here, my hair would stand up and I felt uncomfortable all over. Feeling the changes in the Xanadu community, everyone believed that Yi Bufan had not lied to them, and that the place had indeed been dealt with by experts. Guangdong Plain is a developer that started from the bottom and has strong organizational skills. Soon these workers were in their respective positions and were busy in the community. Yi Bufan did not leave in a hurry, but sat down on a stone in the middle of the community. After a while, Guan Dongping was almost busy and returned to his side. Boss, is everything really okay here? Guan Dongping asked in a low voice. Yi Bufan said, of course, I have already said that from now on our place will be the most luxurious community in Jiangnan, bar none. I feel relieved. Guan Dongping breathed a sigh of relief, and then said, Boss, according to your latest request, a large amount of money will be invested in order to completely complete this community. Chapter 96 Star Media. You are listening at NovelsThe. Yi Bufan asked, how much more do you need? Guan Dongping said, according to my previous plan, I still need 300 million huaxia coins. According to your latest request, boss, at least 500 million huaxia coins are needed. After Yi Bufan took over the Xanadu community, he put forward his own opinions on many places. At the same time, he doubled the workers' salaries, which immediately increased the expenses. He thought for a while and said, I still have 200 million in funds. You can use it first. I will figure out a way with the remaining money. Guan Dongping said, Boss, the best way to solve the problem of the capital chain is to open the sales channel. As long as our houses here start to be sold, the funds will flow back immediately. I can concentrate on completing some houses in the community and then sell them immediately, or I can pre-accept some off-plan houses. Yi Bufan said, no need. We are not selling any of our houses now. We will sell them all together after they are all completed. Nowadays, the name of Xanadu community in Jiangnan City is very bad. It can be said that it is notorious. Even if it starts to be sold, it will not be able to sell at a high price. In the future, he will build this place into a fairyland on earth, and it is not cost-effective to sell it at a low price, Guan Dongping said. But, how to solve our funding problem? Generally speaking, developers will calculate the pre-sale period of the house into the cost at the beginning of development. This is what he did at the beginning, otherwise the capital chain would not be broken due to poor sales. Yi Bufan said, you use these 200 million huaxia coins first, and I will figure out a way to use the remaining money. Okay then. Guan Dongping nodded and said, Boss, I think we should do some publicity preparations for the house sales in our community, otherwise we won't be able to change everyone's impression of our community when the sales are officially launched. No need, our houses will definitely be in short supply, there is no need to advertise. Yi Bufan positioned his community as the top upper-class society in Jiangnan. These people have their own news circles and will not read advertisements at all. Guan Dongping opened his mouth, but finally said nothing. After all, he was no longer the boss here. However, he believes from his own heart that if he wants to sell the house here in the future, he will eventually have to use advertising. At this moment, a yellow Ferrari sports car drove over quickly. After the car stopped, a young man about 30 years old got out of the car. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. He was wearing a straight suit, a pair of sunglasses, and a look of arrogance on his face. But when he saw the Pagani Swan NI parked next to him, he was stunned. He has always believed that his Ferrari 488 is a top-notch sports car, and he likes to drive it out to show off when he has nothing to do. But compared with the sports car in front of him, his car is simply garbage. Beautiful. So beautiful, that the young man walked around the Pagani, his eyes full of jealousy and greed. After looking at it, he said, Guan Dongping, whose car belongs to you? Although Guan Dongping was much older than him in terms of age, this man did not mean to be polite at all when he spoke. It belongs to our boss. Guan Dongping noticed the young man and said politely, Boss Bai, why are you here? After speaking, he hurriedly introduced the two people. Boss, this is the CEO of Xingyao Media Company, Boss Bai Haikuan, and this is my boss Yi Bufan. Bai Haikuan looked at Yi Bufan and said to him, I heard that the Xanadu community has a new boss, and it turns out to be you. I've taken a fancy to your car, give it to me. Yi Bufan looked at Bai Haikuan in surprise and wondered if this person was sick. Why? Are you a little unconvinced? Bai Haikuan said, I'm here to talk business with you today, and I'm going to buy a stake in your paradise community. If you give me 30% of the shares here, plus this car, I will become a shareholder. Yi Bufan glanced at him and asked, how much money are you prepared to invest? What funds? Bai Haikuan, are enough to invest in the shares. If you calculate carefully, you have taken advantage of me. What more money do you need? Roll. Yi Bufan was completely angered by this idiot. He wanted his own car when he came here, and now he wants 30% of the shares. Does he think he is the Jade Emperor or the King of Heaven? Bai Haikuan shouted, Boy, do you know who you are talking to? You dare to ask me to get out. You don't want to sell this house, do you? Don't be angry. If you have something to say, please talk to me. Guan Dongping hurriedly stood up to smooth things over, then pulled Yi Bufan aside and whispered, Boss, this guy is a gangster in the business world. He holds the largest Xingyao media company in Jiangnan City in his hands and spends his days extorting money. Blackmail, but the power in his hands is indeed very powerful. We can't afford to offend him. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Yi Bufan said nonchalantly, Why can't you provoke the law? Guan Dongping said, If Bai Haikuan is offended, no media company will dare to take over the advertising business in our community, and he can use his power to discredit us. Even if this community is completed by then, he may not be able to sell even one house. Seeing that Yi Bufan was disapproving, he felt that his introduction was not comprehensive enough, and added, just some time ago, he just brought down a large food company in Jiangnan City. Originally there was nothing wrong with his food, but he was slandered by him in every possible way, and a large company with assets worth hundreds of millions had to declare bankruptcy. Yi Bufan nodded, I understand. Bai Haikuan stood there complacently. When he saw the two people coming back, knowing that Guan Dongping had almost introduced his situation, he said with a proud face, How is it? Now you know who I am, Bai. Give you 5 minutes, agree to my conditions quickly, otherwise I will take 50% of the shares. The Xanadu community has a bad reputation in recent times and has long been a prey in his eyes. However, it was previously the Luo family's favorite and he did not dare to intervene rashly. Yesterday I heard that this community had been auctioned by Guan Dongping and finally fell into the hands of a young man in his 20s. He immediately asked someone to inquire and determined that Yi Bufan was a student with no background. The reason why he was able to take pictures of this community was entirely because he won 300 million in the casino. After finding out more about it, he came to the door confidently, thinking that the young man in front of him must cooperate with him, so he opened his mouth. Yi Bufan glanced at him and said, I'll give you 10 seconds to disappear from my eyes. Bai Haichuan's expression changed. How long has it been since then, and you still dare to be crazy about me? Let me tell you, if you offend me, Xingyao Media, this community will only become a dead market, and not a single house will be sold. Yi Bufan started counting down, 3, 2, 1. Yi, how dare you? Before Bai Haikuan could finish speaking, he was kicked and flew 7 or 8 meters away. He got up from the ground in disgrace and shouted angrily, "Boy, you dare to hit me. Just wait, I will lose if your house can be sold to one household." After saying that, he climbed onto the Ferrari and disappeared in a blink of an eye. Chapter 97, Ungrateful. You are listening at NovelsThe. Seeing Bai Haikuan leaving, Guan Dongping sighed, "Boss, we have offended Xingyao Media, and we may be in big trouble in the future." Yi Bufan said, "It doesn't matter, he's just a gangster, don't take it to heart, don't say they can't cover the sky with one hand, even if they can monopolize the media industry, it doesn't matter, when our house is completed and sold, everyone will line up to buy it, so there is no need to publicize or advertise it." Guan Dongping sighed again, wondering where this little boss's confidence came from, but he was a pragmatic person, so he didn't think much about the future and went to the construction site again to be busy. In order to calm down the emotions of these workers, Yi Bufan stayed with everyone until the evening. He only left when the workers had finished their work. The next morning, when he came to Zuijiangnan restaurant again, he found that his mother was completely new from head to toe. From the moment he can remember, life at home has been very difficult. His mother has never been particular about dressing up, let alone bought a single cosmetic. As the saying goes, Buddha relies on gold and people rely on clothes. The clothes Ouyang Lan wore today did not look particularly luxurious, but they immediately set off a person's temperament. High-end clothes are indeed different. After dressing up like this, she looks more than 10 years younger, like a beautiful young woman in her 30s. Needless to say, it goes without saying that this is all due to Qin Chu Chu. Although he is rich now, he is a complete amateur when it comes to dressing up women. It seems that he will have Qin Chu Chu come over a few more times in the future to dress his mother up. Seeing her son looking at her like that, Ouyang Lan said a little embarrassedly, "Xiaofan, what's wrong? Doesn't mom look good in this dress?" "It's not that you don't look good, it's that you look so good." Yi Bufan said with a smile, "If you go out on the street now, you will definitely fascinate a lot of people. Even people who say you are 30 years old will believe you." "You kid, you started talking nonsense again." Ouyang Lan said this with a smile on her face. "There is no woman who does not love beauty," she added. "Chu Chu bought this for me. I said I would pay for it myself, but she didn't agree and didn't even let me see the price. Mom, she is my girlfriend, so she should buy you some clothes." Yi Bufan secretly admired Qin Chu Chu for being smart and considerate. If his mother saw the price of these clothes, which easily cost 5 figures, she would never buy them even to death. "Xiaofan, let me tell you, Chu Chu is a good girl. You can't do anything to her in the future. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Can't afford others." Ouyang Lan was so happy when she mentioned Qin Chu Chu that she was obviously very satisfied with this daughter-in-law. After the mother and son had breakfast, Yi Bufan was about to leave when Ouyang Lan's cell phone rang. After the call was connected, a woman's sharp voice came from the receiver. "My dear eldest sister, when will you pay back the 3,000 yuan you owe our family?" Although the phone was in Ouyang Lan's hand, the room was quiet, and Yi Bufan's 6 senses were extremely sharp. He heard the content of the phone clearly and immediately frowned. The caller was Ouyang Lan's youngest sister Ouyang Hui. This woman was mean and had bullied Ouyang Lan a lot over the years. When Yi Bufan was in college, his family really couldn't raise the tuition fees. Ouyang Lan begged in every possible way and was humiliated. Finally, Ouyang Huikai threw 3,000 yuan in her sister's face. He remembered the scene clearly and would never forget it in his life. Ouyang Lan was seriously ill and was hospitalized a few days ago. He also called Ouyang Hui, but this woman didn't care about her sister's life or death. As soon as I heard that I wanted to borrow money, I immediately hung up the phone. I didn't expect that someone would come to collect debts again so soon. Ouyang Lan took the phone and said, "Shall we? Don't worry, I have prepared the money I owe you and will pay it back to you when I go home to worship my ancestors in a few days." She is a kind person, and naturally she is not used to owing money to others. When she got rich, she had already prepared all the money she owed to her relatives, and she was just waiting to pay it all back when she returned to her hometown in a few days. Yang Hui said, "No need, Xiao Jun and I have rushed to Jiangnan City now. We will arrive in 2 hours. I will go to you to get the money in a moment. Just tell me the address." Yang Lan's hometown is in Bufan County. Although it is also part of Jiangnan City, the county seat is very far from the urban area, almost 200 kilometers away. Yang Lan said, "Then you come to Zoe Jiangnan restaurant. Sister will treat you to dinner at noon." Yang Hui said, "Sister, don't think that you can just find a big restaurant to treat me to dinner and then you can default. Today's money must be paid back." Yang Lan said, "Shall we, what are you talking about? Is the eldest sister the one who defaults on the debt? One code is one code, a meal is a meal, pay back the money." Yang Hui snorted coldly and hung up the phone without saying anything. When Yang Lan put away the phone, she said, "Xiaofan, your aunt and Xiao Jun are here. Leave a private room for noon and let's treat them to a meal." Yi Bufan said, "Mom, you don't have to deal with people like this chapter is not finished, please turn the page." "Reasonable, just return the money to her, there is no need to treat her to dinner again." Yang Lan said, "Look at how your child talks. After all, she is also my biological sister. What's wrong with having a meal as a family?" Yi Bufan said, "You treat her as your sister, but she doesn't treat you as your sister. I called her a few days ago when you were seriously ill and hospitalized, but she didn't care about your life or death at all. Instead, she told me that you would have to pay back the money even if you died. How could you have such a biological sister?" Thinking of the despair that he felt at that time, with no way to go to heaven and no way to go to earth, Yi Bufan felt angry in his heart. If he hadn't been lucky enough to receive the inheritance of ancient medicine, he might have been separated from his mother by now. Yang Lan sighed and said, "Son, everyone has difficulties. Maybe your aunt didn't have any money at the time. Let's put this matter aside for now, but what about the door-to-door debt collection? If you hadn't paid so much back then, how would they be where they are today?" Yang Lan has a total of 6 children in her family, 3 boys and 3 girls. She is the eldest. Their father died young when they were teenagers, and their mother became seriously ill due to overwork. Eventually, the burden of the family fell on her shoulders. Because the family had no money, he gave up his top score in the county during the high school entrance examination and entered the society early to work to earn money to support his remaining siblings in school. When the youngest Yang Hui and Yang Fei went to college, although the 3 uncles had already entered the society to participate in the work, they did not care about their tuition fees, and Yang Lan was still responsible for them alone. At that time, Yang Lan had already reached the age of marriage, but she never got married in order to support the family. In order to prevent her 2 younger sisters from giving up halfway, she endured the humiliation and married herself to Jiang Xiaotian, a playboy in the county town. She exchanged herself for 50,000 yuan, which allowed Yang Hui and Yang Fei to graduate from college smoothly. At that time, both Yang Fei and Yang Hui were very grateful to Yang Lan, and their relationship was pretty good, but later Jiang Xiaotian ruined his family fortune by engaging in eating, drinking, prostitution and gambling, and turned around and fell in love with another rich woman. In the end, only Yang Lan and her daughter were left alone. In addition, she adopted Yi Bufan, and life became more and more difficult day by day. At that time, Yang Hui had graduated from college and was working in the county medical bureau with great success. As the life gap between the 2 sisters widened, Yang Hui not only failed to provide any help, but instead looked down on Yang Lan more and more, completely forgetting the kindness her eldest sister had towards her. Chapter 98, Relatives Come to Visit. You are listening at NovelsThe. Yi Bufan originally wanted to continue talking, but seeing his mother's sad expression, he held back for fear that she would be sad. Yang Lan said, "I know that they have indeed gone too far in some cases over the years, but after all, they are still my biological brothers and sisters." Yi Bufan shook his head. His mother was still too kind, but these days, when people are kind, others bully horses, and good people ride, and honest people are always bullied. Yang Lan added, "If you don't like them, go out and do your work first. Yi Bufan said, that won't work. If I leave, they will definitely bully you. He knew that his mother's character was kind to weak in front of her younger brothers and sisters. If he were not there, he would definitely be bullied by Ouyang Hui. Ouyang Lan said, you kid, she is my sister, how can you do anything to me? That's not okay. Anyway, from now on, I can't let anyone bully you anymore. Ouyang Lan saw that Yi Bufan was serious and said quickly, Xiaofan, your aunt and I haven't seen each other for several years. You must control your temper later and don't get angry easily. Seeing his mother's pleading eyes, he could only sigh and said, okay, as long as they don't go too far, I won't say anything. Near noon, a middle-aged woman who looked quite similar to Ouyang Lan appeared in front of Zui Jiangnan restaurant. She was Ouyang Hui. Behind Ouyang Hui followed a young man of about 20 years old. He had yellow hair and was wearing a floral shirt. He looked arrogant. He raised his chin when he walked and looked quite proud. He is Ouyang Hui's son Kong Jijun, who is 2 years younger than Yi Bufan. Although he is the younger brother in terms of seniority, he was often blamed by Yi Bufan's siblings when he was young. Looking at the magnificent restaurant, Kong Jijun said, didn't you say that poor guy sells steamed buns here? How do you have money to spend in such a good restaurant? Ouyang Hui snorted coldly and said, you're just pretending to be fat. I think it's just because you want to treat us to a meal, and then you can default on the bill. Kong Jijun said, Mom, it's not okay to refuse to pay. Although our family has money, we can't spend it in vain on them. It's all because I was soft-hearted and lent them the money. I will ask for the money first when I get in, and then talk about it after I get the money. Ouyang Hui said and walked towards the restaurant and came to the private room reserved by Ouyang Lan in advance. When the door opened, Ouyang Lan saw her sister coming and immediately smiled. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Yan Kai greeted him, shall we, you are finally here. Are you tired from the journey? Ouyang Hui, however, did not have the enthusiasm of sisters reunited after a long separation. She glanced at Ouyang Lan coldly, sister, didn't Xiaofan call a few days ago to say that you were going to die? You are not alive and well now. Ouyang Lan said, shall we, don't misunderstand Xiaofan. I was indeed rescued in the ICU for a long time at that time, but I recovered better later. Ouyang Hui had a sarcastic look on her face and said, sister, I didn't expect you to have such a good life now and go to such a high-end restaurant to spend money, the daily consumption is quite high, no wonder the money owed to our family has not been repaid for so long. Yi Bufan frowned and was about to speak but was stopped by his mother's eyes. In desperation, he could only turn his eyes to the side, he just couldn't figure out why the personalities of these two people, both born from the same mother, were so different. Ouyang Lan was kind and honest, while this woman was extremely bitter and mean. Ouyang Lan patiently explained, shall we, don't get me wrong, actually this hotel is. She originally wanted to say that the hotel belonged to her and she didn't have to spend money, but Ouyang Hui didn't give her the chance at all and interrupted directly, okay, I'm not interested in hearing about this, please pay back the money you owe our family as soon as possible, otherwise we may not have any money after dinner. Shall we, I asked you to say this. I have prepared the money for you a long time ago. Ouyang Lan put the 3,000 yuan prepared in advance into Ouyang Hui's hand, and then said enthusiastically, sit down and eat. The dishes I ordered are all your favorites. Seeing that the money was in her hand, Ouyang Hui felt relieved and pulled up a chair and sat down. Ouyang Lan said to Kong Jijun who was standing next to him, Xiao Jun, I haven't seen you for a few years and you have grown into a young man. Hurry up and sit down. Kong Jijun curled his lips and said, Auntie, it is said that you have lent money to my family for more than 3 years. If this money is placed in the bank, there will be some interest. Ouyang Lan's expression froze. He didn't expect that his nephew would ask for interest from him. Yi Bufan couldn't bear it anymore and said, calculate the general ledger, right? Then let's do the calculation today. When my aunt went to college, my mother paid her tuition fees. Should I pay it back today? Hearing his words, Ouyang Hui's expression changed. Your mother is my sister, shouldn't she pay my tuition fees? Yi Bufan sneered, this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Now I remember that it was your sister who came. A few days ago, my mother was lying in critical condition on the hospital bed. How could you forget that it was your sister at that time? Yang Hui shouted, my eldest sister is fine now. She doesn't look like a dying patient. It's obvious that you are the one pretending to pass the imperial edict and want to continue to defraud me of money. Do you think I can't see through this trick? Yi Bufan said, then what happened today? My mother owes you 3,000 yuan, and the tuition she paid you was more than that, right? As a biological sister, it's okay to come to collect debts, but she is still clamoring for interest. I really don't know how you said it. Kong Jijun shouted, Yi Bufan, why are you talking to my mother? My aunt should pay my mother's tuition. My mother is her biological sister, and the money my mother lent you was spent on you, an outsider. Xiao Jun, what are you talking about? We are all a family. Seeing that the few people were getting more and more noisy, Yang Lan quickly pulled Yi Bufan behind him and said, okay, let's stop arguing. As she spoke, she took out a red envelope that she had prepared long ago and stuffed it into Kong Jijun. Xiao Jun, this is the red envelope that my aunt has prepared for you. Kong Jijun took the red envelope and squeezed it. The thick stack was even more than the 3,000 yuan. Having already received the money, he said nothing more, but he was quite surprised. He didn't know how Yang Lan, who had always been poor, suddenly became so generous. Yi Bufan couldn't help but secretly sigh. His mother was so kind to her relatives that she had no bottom line. It was precisely because of this that she was bullied one after another, and in the end she didn't even have a home. Seeing that her son got the red envelope, Yang Hui was very satisfied and said, Sister, I also brought you a gift this time. As she spoke, she took a paper bag next to her and said, I've known for a long time that eldest sister likes to drink tea, so I prepared some for you. Yang Lan was very happy to see that her sister could think of bringing herself a gift. She didn't care whether the gift was good or bad, but what she cared about was the family affection. She said politely, we are all one family, so why bring any gifts? As she spoke, she reached out to pick up the paper bag, but Yang Hui pushed her hand away and said, wait a minute, this is not all for you. Yang Lan looked surprised and didn't know what this meant. Yang Hui reached out and took out a hardcover box of Westlake Longjing from the paper bag and placed it next to it. Then he took out a package of loose old black tea and handed it over. Chapter 99 Old Black Tea. You are listening at NovelsThe. Yi Bufan's face instantly darkened. He was very familiar with this kind of old black tea in bulk. It only cost more than 10 yuan a pack and was completely incomparable with the box of Westlake Longjing. Originally, he didn't care whether the gift was high or low, but this was obviously just looking at the dishes, dividing people into 3, 6, or 9, and treating them differently. He said angrily, Auntie, what do you mean? Yang Hui said, what's wrong? Your mother is good at drinking this old black tea, but she still wants to drink my Westlake Longjing. Is this something you can drink? Yi Bufan said angrily, why doesn't my mother deserve to drink Longjing? Kong Jijun said sarcastically, Yi Bufan, you really dare to say anything, and you don't even know who you are. This Westlake Longjing costs 10,000 yuan a box. Do you, a poor man, deserve to drink it? Are you afraid of flashing your tongue? What he said was excessive, but Yang Hui had no intention of stopping her. In her eyes, the eldest sister's family was the lowest class, and there was nothing wrong with treating them differently. Xiao Fan, please say a few words. My aunt is a guest. Besides, my mother has a bad stomach and happens to like drinking black tea. Yang Lan quickly grabbed Yi Bufan, who was about to run away, took the old black tea, and said to Yang Hui, Xiao Wei, are you here for business in Jiangnan City this time? Yang Hui's originally superior expression dimmed instantly, and she sighed and said, yes, I brought Xiao Jun to see a doctor. Yang Lan said in surprise, seeing a doctor? Isn't Xiao Jun doing well? What's wrong with him? Alas! A month ago, my little Jun suddenly got a strange disease. He would have a splitting headache every midnight, and he would feel like a normal person during the day. I haven't been working recently and have been taking him around for medical treatment. However, I even went to the top hospitals in the imperial capital and couldn't find anything wrong. I had no choice but to take him to see a Chinese medicine doctor. I heard that Mr. Chow from Baikatang is the best expert in traditional Chinese medicine, so I wanted to take Xiaojun to have a look. However, Mr. Chow seems to be learning acupuncture recently and doesn't make any visits at all. I had no choice but to find Secretary Wang from the Health Bureau through my connections. I wanted him to help say a word to Mr. Chow and see a doctor for Xiaojun. This tea was prepared for him. At this point, Ouyang Hui seemed to feel that she had said too much, shook her head and said, "It's useless to tell you this, you can't help." "I can help you." Ouyang Lan said with concern when he heard that Kong Jijun had this strange disease. "Xiaofan still has some connections in Jiangnan City, why don't you let him help you talk about it? She is just kind, not stupid. On the contrary, she is very smart at heart." Yi Bufan has been on a roll recently, able to make people. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. The big shot took the initiative to offer him a hotel, and he also found a beautiful and extraordinary girlfriend like Qin Chu Chu. She saw all this and naturally knew that her son was no longer an ordinary person. Ouyang Lan sincerely wanted to help, but these words sounded like a joke to Ouyang Hui. She chuckled and said with disdain on her face, "You two, mother and son, one is a bun seller, and he has no time to eat, and the other cannot afford to pay for school, and there is no tomorrow, but you still have the nerve to offer us help. I really don't know who gave you the courage." Ouyang Lan said, "Why don't you believe it? Xiaofan is very capable now. He cured my disease, and he also cured many big shots during this time." Kong Jijun said, "Auntie, don't brag for him. How can a student who has not graduated from medical school have high medical skills? You should keep your skills to yourselves." Ouyang Hui said angrily, "Yes, our little army is so delicate that we can't just use it as a guinea pig." Ouyang Lan said anxiously, "Shall we? What I said is true. Xiaofan has indeed cured many big shots. This restaurant." Before she could finish speaking, she was interrupted rudely by Ouyang Hui again. "Okay, sister, I work in the health bureau and I still have the most basic medical knowledge, so don't even think about lying to me. Besides, the big shots in your eyes are not only selling vermicelli but also selling meat. How much higher can their status be?" Kong Jijun said arrogantly, "The person we are looking for this time is the secretary of the director. You have never seen such a big leader, let alone asking for help. If my dad wasn't an old classmate, he wouldn't have helped me." Ouyang Hui then said, "Yes, Secretary Wang is Director Zhou's secretary. I think Mr. Chow will give some face to us and will definitely treat our Xiaojun." Ouyang Lan wanted to say something more, but Yi Bufan stopped her. "Mom, since my aunt doesn't like her, why do you insist? Okay, let's eat." A look of loneliness flashed across Ouyang Lan's face, and then she stopped talking. The meal was very simple, with only 4 dishes served, and soon everyone had almost eaten. Ouyang Lan originally had generous arrangements, but Yi Bufan secretly cancelled them. Of course, he was not short of this kind of food, but he couldn't feed it to such a wolf-hearted person. He just wanted to make it acceptable for his mother's sake. After dinner, Ouyang Hui and her son didn't even say hello, picked up their things, turned around and left the hotel. The main purpose of their visit this time is to ask for money. Since the money has already, this chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Now that I'm back, I don't want to have anything to do with this poor relative in the future. I'm afraid of borrowing money from them again if I talk too much. Ouyang Lan sent them to the door of the hotel and wanted to help them get a taxi, but Yi Bufan pulled them back. "Mom, didn't you see? People are avoiding you, so why are we sticking our hot faces against their cold butts?" Ouyang Lan said, "After all, she is your aunt, and Xiaojun is still sick, so don't be like them. You treat them as family members, but they don't take you seriously at all." Yi Bufan reached back and grabbed the bag of old black tea and threw it into the trash can. "Mom, it's better not to deal with people like this again in the future. Your grandpa passed away early, and your grandma is alone and in poor health. I raised Xiaohui single-handedly. Even if she has any problems, it's because I didn't teach her well. For mom's sake, don't argue with her. Okay. Ouyang Lan was speaking from her heart. Although she felt unhappy in her heart, she had brought up several younger brothers and sisters, especially the youngest Ouyang Hui, who was almost like a child in her eyes. Even if Ouyang Hui goes too far, she still thinks that she has not educated her well, and she feels a little guilty in her heart. This is also the reason why she has always been unprincipled and tolerant. Yi Bufan sighed and said, "Forget it, Mom, let's not talk about this unhappy thing, not to mention what happens in the future. Don't you see, they are here to ask for the bill this time, and they will never come again in the future." Ouyang Lan opened her mouth, but in the end she said nothing. She was not stupid, so she knew her son was right. At this time, the mobile phone in Yi Bufan's pocket rang. He checked it and saw that it was Chao Xinghua. He pressed the answer button, and Chao Xinghua said respectfully through the phone, "Brother, I'm too dull. I've been practicing the 13 needles to exorcise evils for so many days, but I still can't grasp the key points. Can you please take the time to give me some advice?" Ever since Chao Xinghua was accepted as a disciple by the acting master, Yi Bufan began to teach him medical skills. The 9 needles for returning heaven needed Chi luck needles. The old man couldn't learn them anymore, so he taught him another set of 13 needles for exorcising evil. This set of acupuncture is also a unique skill of ancient medicine, and it has miraculous effects on diseases caused by evil spirits entering the body. After getting the acupuncture method, Chao Xinghua felt like he had found a treasure. He has been practicing in retreat at home these days. Unfortunately, he has never been able to grasp the key points, so he called for help today. Yi Bufan said, "Okay then, you wait for me at home, I'll be there right away." "That's great, thank you, senior brother." After Chao Xinghua finished speaking, he hung up the phone happily. Yi Bufan said hello to his mother and then went out and rushed towards Baikatang. Chapter 100, Got Kicked in the Head by a Donkey. You are listening at NovelsThe. Ouyang Hui and her son took a taxi and hurried to the health bureau. After finding Secretary Wang's office, they walked in with flattering faces. The pride they felt in front of Yi Bufan and his son had long since disappeared. "Hello Secretary Wang, we are from Bufan County," Ouyang Hui said and handed over the top-quality Westlake Longjing in her hand. Seeing that Secretary Wang didn't pick it up, she put it on the table next to her. Secretary Wang raised his head and said, "Oh, Lao Kong and I are classmates, so there is no need to be so polite." Ouyang Hui said, "Secretary Wang, I have told you about Xiao Juan's illness. This time I want Mr. Chao to take a look. Mr. Chao is a famous Chinese medicine expert here. His skills are no worse than those of national experts. There are very few diseases that he cannot cure." Secretary Wang paused here, but Mr. Chao has a very stubborn temper. "I can only say that I will take you to give it a try. It's hard to say whether it will work or not." Ouyang Hui said with a flattering look on her face, "Secretary Wang, you are so polite. You are the chief secretary. How can a doctor not give you face?" Secretary Wang said, "Mr. Chao is the top medical expert in Jiangnan City, with first-class qualifications and status. Don't say that I'm just a little secretary. Even if the director comes to visit in person, whether he will give me face or not depends on his mood. Looking at the whole of China, there is probably only one person who can make Mr. Chao obey his words." Ouyang Hui's mother and son's eyes were full of envy, but they didn't have the courage to ask who that person was. In their opinion, someone with a higher status than the director must be a high-ranking official, or a very wealthy person. "Okay, now that you're here, come with me and try your luck," Secretary Wang said and took the 2 people out of the door and rushed towards the Bai Chao Hall. In the Luo family, Luo Wentao stood in the living room with a respectful expression. Opposite him stood 2 old Taoists and a Taoist nun in Taoist robes. The Luo family has been cooperating with the old Taoist Xuanji over the years, and they know the details of the old Taoist very well. After killing Xuanji, he immediately sent him back to his master Qingyun Taoist temple, and the 2 people in front of him were Xuanji's senior brother Xian Hua and senior sister Xianing. The 2 of them looked like they were only in their 40s or 50s, but in fact they were already over 80 years old. Especially Taoist Aunt Xianying, whose cultivation had reached the early stage of the Xian level. Aunt Xianying asked, Luo Wentao, please tell me clearly how my junior brother died. At this moment, her face was filled with a ferocious look, without any charity and peace that a monk should have. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. And 2 seniors, it's like this. Luo Wentao spoke with a sad face. The reason why he wanted to kill Xuanji Lao Dao was to put the blame on him. Naturally, he had already thought of an excuse and put all the blame on Yi Bufan. 2 seniors, this is what happened. Yi Bufan's methods were despicable. Not only did he steal the treasure from Master Xuanji, he also killed his old man. By the time the junior arrived, the master had already died. The junior was incompetent and could not avenge Master Xuanji, so he could only send the master's body back. He also asked 2 seniors to avenge Master Xuanji. His old man's death was really tragic. At this point, he shed a few tears. Xuanhua said angrily, asshole, someone dares to attack someone from my Qingyan sect. I'm really tired of living. Xianying asked, do you know where the boy named Yi is now? Luo Wentao said, yes, I know that Qingyan sect will definitely avenge the master, so I have been sending people to keep an eye on him these days. Xianying said, find his specific location immediately, and we will go over and kill him now. Secretary Wang brought Ouyang Hui and Kong Jijun to Baikayatang Traditional Chinese Medicine Clinic. As the secretary of the director of the Health Bureau, he was very familiar with the people here. After entering, he said to the medical lady at the front desk, I want to meet Mr. Chow. The medical guidance lady said politely, I'm sorry, Secretary Wang, Mr. Chow has given instructions. He doesn't see anyone recently, and he doesn't see anyone. Kong Jijun said, not even Secretary Wang. This is the secretary of the director. No, there is no exception here with Mr. Chow. After finishing speaking, the guiding lady glanced at Kong Jijun as if she were looking at an idiot. This is Bai Chao Hall. With Mr. Chow's status, not even Zhou Yongliang can force him to do anything, let alone the secretary of the director. Secretary Wang also glared at Kong Jijun, blaming him for being ignorant. Sensing Secretary Wang's dissatisfaction, Kong Jijun shut his mouth. Secretary Wang turned around and said to the medical lady, when can Mr. Chow receive treatment again? The guiding lady said, I'm not sure about this. I heard that Mr. Chow is studying an acupuncture method. I'm afraid I won't be able to treat him again until he understands it. Thank you, I know now. After Secretary Wang finished speaking, he took Ouyang Hui and Ouyang Hui to the side and said, there is no other way. I have tried my best. If you want to see Mr. Chow for medical treatment, you will have to wait for a while. This chapter is not finished, please turn the page. Kong Jijun said, I can't wait. My head will hurt so much at night that it feels like it's exploding. I'll die in a few days. Ouyang Hui said pleadingly, yes, Secretary Wang, please help me think of a solution. Secretary Wang said, if you want to see other Chinese medicine doctors, I can help, but Mr. Chow really can't help you here. Ouyang Hui said, we have seen many other doctors and there is nothing we can do. Kong Jijun said, Uncle Wang, you are the big leader, but he is just a small Chinese medicine doctor, can't you still treat him? Find some people to seal his medical clinic directly. I don't believe that this old man will still be able to show off his big name when the time comes. Shut up, are you allowed to say such nonsense? Secretary Wang glared at him fiercely, then looked around. Fortunately, no one heard what he just said. Then he said in a stern tone, what do you know? Mr. Chow's status in Jiangnan City is extremely high. Even those at the top have to give some face, but you actually want to seal his medical clinic. Did you get kicked in the head by a donkey? He is just a child and is ignorant, so don't argue with him. Ouyang Hui said, Secretary Wang, do you think there is really no other way? No, I can't control this matter. You'd better hire someone else. Secretary Wang was obviously extremely dissatisfied with Kong Jijun and turned around to leave. At this moment, Yi Bufan walked in from the door. Ouyang Hui said in surprise, why is he here? Kong Jijun said, do you still need to ask? They must have heard that we came to buy Kaetang and wanted to come and take advantage of us to see Mr. Chow for medical treatment. This kind of person is really shameless. Yang Hui said, yes, it's too insidious. The two people spoke confidently. They thought Yi Bufan would come to find them, but they didn't expect that Yi Bufan didn't even look this way and walked straight to Chao Xinghua's room. Hey! What's going on? Didn't you say that Mr. Chow didn't see anyone? How did he get in? Yang Hui said and shouted to the guidance lady at the door, what do you mean? Why can't he go in when we are not allowed in? Kang Jijun shouted, yes, why can he enter but we can't? The medical guidance lady glanced at the mother and son, and said sarcastically, are you out of your mind? How dare you compete with Dr. Yi? Divine Dr. Yi? What Dr. Yi? Yang Hui and Yang Hui looked confused.